1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. Always.
One of resistance,
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the first order down.
rebellion,
Rebellion is built on hope.
and redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you. Always.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Star Wars Reactions. We're so excited to have you back with us this week. We got a great show. It's going to be awesome. Let's get the introductions out of the way so we can relive a fantastic weekend that we just spent. My name is Aaron Harris, and joining me is my co-host, the man with the most, the David Motters. David, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. Glad to be back on with you. It's been a while, and ready to react and record tonight with you, buddy.
Absolutely. Yep. You were definitely missed in our last episode. I know you were traveling and again, getting some family stuff done, which is awesome. But it's good to have you back. We actually got a great show today. We are actually sitting down and we're actually going to talk about our weekend at Central Florida Comic-Con. This was actually a blast. We spent the day out, the Saturday out there on the 20th of January. Is, of course, Central Florida Comic-Con is an annual convention that we go to. It started back in 2019. It's held here in my hometown of Lakeland, Florida, which is awesome. It's nice to finally have I know a couple of companies have tried to do a convention here before, and they've all not done well. They'd come for a year, then leave. But Central Florida Comic-Con came in back in 2019, and they haven't left. It's been great. For those of you who don't know the history there, Central Florida Comic-Con is run by Nerd Street LLC, which of course was started by the incredible Ben Penrod. If you are not familiar with this gentleman, he actually runs several conventions around the country, including Awesome Con in Washington, D.C., Shugio Expo, Annapolis Comic-Con, Southern Maryland Comic-Con, Twin Cities Con, Des Moines Con, and he is the co-promoter for Alaska Comic-Con as well. Then, of course, we got Lakeland thrown in the mix for Central Florida Comic-Con, which is huge. It's fun. Of course, held at the local convention center, the RP Funding Center, or if you are from the Lakeland area, you will always call it the Lakeland Center, because that's what it was for pretty up until about 7 years ago. It's been the Lakeland Civic Center for decades. Now all of a sudden it's the RP Funding Center. But it'll always be the Lakeland Center to me. But we had a blast. So let's talk about it, David, because we had a fun day. First off, it was great to see you again. It had been a little bit since we had gotten together, and it was fun to hang out with you there at the con. So tell me, David, let's start this discussion. Why do you enjoy coming down for Central Florida Comic-Con?
Well, I mean, a couple of reasons. One, and you and I have talked about this on previous recordings regarding Central Florida Comic-Con, just the size of it, getting in, getting out is incredibly easy. I drive down from Ocala, you're there in Lakeland. It's easy for me to buzz down. I'm not going into Tampa or Orlando. I mean, you and I'll do that, and you and I have done that. But it's just, there's an ease of getting into, like you said, I'm same as you, Lakeland Civic Center. I know it's called the RP Funding Center, but it's easy to get in there and to park. Although this year, this is the busiest I've seen it with parking, but it was still convenient. It was still easy to get in. It's easy to get around the facility, even as they've opened up the arena last year and this year. It's easy. It's quick. You and I bop around, through all the different vendors and the different sites, and you can take it all in. And I like the different themes they have. This year was very much anime focused, but that was fine because you and I spent a lot of time going in through all the vendors and looking at different things. I like who they have there. It was great to see Greg McLaughlin last year. This year we got to see Mary and her son Chazz, so that was outstanding that they were there. And so again, easy for them to get there, easy for you and I to get there. I love the size of it, and we've just, I think maybe Aaron, we just have had so much fun there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we definitely have. We have always had a blast from the very first year we went, and when we met Phil Lamar was the first year we went, and the first year it was here, and that was a blast. I loved it. For me, I love it just because one, I get to hang out with friends. I have other friends that come, like Mary and Chazz did this year, and Tyler and Robbie and some other friends last year and the year before and so forth. It's a blast. But one thing I do love is, especially since we've gone from the beginning, is we've gotten to see how it has grown. I mean, it started off with just one of the conference halls, and it expanded it to the 2 halls, and or a hall and a half, then 2 halls, and then last year it absorbed the basketball arena as well. I mean, it's growing exponentially, and it has been fun to see. But what I love about Central Florida Comic-Con and how Ben is running this, even though it's growing and getting larger, it still has a small town con feel to it. It doesn't have that overpowering feeling like going to MegaCon or Celebration, or if you've been blessed enough to go to San Diego Comic-Con, where it's business oriented. This is a fan oriented event. And you can feel the fans, the fan involvement. You can feel the fans enjoying it. It's just got very much a small town feel to it. And what's great too, being in Lakeland, for those of you who don't know where Lakeland, Florida is, if you look at a map of the state of Florida and you go dead center of the state, right between Tampa and Orlando, your finger's in Lake. You throw that finger right in the middle there between Tampa and Orlando, your finger's on Lakeland. So we're an hour from Tampa. We're an hour from Disney in Orlando. So, I mean, it's easy for people to get to, which makes it awesome as well. So it's got that massive growth potential. And it was just nice to have fun. And all the vendors, the volunteers, all the fans that are there attending, and even the celebrities they brought in, everybody has just been so nice, and everybody is so generous with their time, and it's a blast. It's a completely different, you have fun at Celebration, you have fun at MegaCon and Dragon Con and all these other larger conventions, but it's very organized, very time structured. These guys are here just having fun, and that's what makes this so much fun. There is some organization, there is some time structures, schedules that need to be kept and so forth, but it is not as strict of it. The people that come in, they like to talk and visit, and they're talking to their fans, and it's a lot more intimate of a convention than some of the others that we've been to. And I love that about Central Florida Comic-Con, and it is definitely something that if you are in the state of Florida, in the area, definitely come next year. Make plans to come down and join us, because you will not regret it. And I'll give you the dates for that here in a little bit. So, but it is a blast going to this convention. And we get to meet great people too. David had a chance to talk to the Outer Rim Guild members and learn a bit about that organization. Then, of course, Mary Perdue and Chazz came over and joined us for the day. So that was awesome as well. Matter of fact, we got some audio for you as well. So let's go ahead and turn it over to David and over at the Outer Rim Guild booth. Take it away.
All right, we're here at Central Florida Comic-Con 2024, and we are walking the show floor, and we stopped by the Outer Rim Guilds. And so we just wanted to talk to you guys because we just got some really awesome photos with you. You guys all have the lightsabers lit up and have all kinds of cool stuff here. So what's your name, and tell us a little bit about Outer Rim Guilds?
My name is Kevin Daniels. I am the director of the Outer Rim Guilds, and it is a Lucasfilm approved costuming group. We're a 501c3 charity here in the state of Florida. So we also do costuming, props. We help raise money for charity organizations like the Friends of Down Syndrome. We help raise $1,700 for their buddy walk. And we not only do your like Luke and Leia's and Han Solo characters, but we have custom characters as well. And on top of all of that, we do lightsaber choreography so we can entertain. And when we go to conventions like Central Florida Comic-Con or MegaCon, we teach panels. So we'll go into panels, we'll do panels on lightsaber spinning, lightsaber choreography. We do panels for costuming and props, like how to build the costumes or how to outsource it, so you have to spend an arm and a leg. And so that gives us a lot of flexibility because, again, we have custom characters. So you can have a smuggler, you can have a pirate. One of our members has a hyperdrive mechanic, and he built a rig and everything for it. It looks like he just walked out of the shipyard, is ready to fix something.
So tell me a little bit about the lightsaber training. You're going to be doing that in a few minutes. So we're trying to get, a little interview in here with you guys before you're over there doing that. But I got to talk to you a little bit before we started recording, but can you give me a little history on like what you mentioned, like at colleges and universities and some of the combat training you've done?
Right. For me, it started in high school, 1,000 years ago. I took a couple of stage combat classes, and then right out of high school, I started doing Renaissance festivals and medieval fairs. And I did the Bay Area Renaissance Festival, which started in Largo and then moved to Tampa and is now in Dade City. But when it started in Largo, I came out, I was a melee fighter, then I was a feature fighter, then assistant director, then finally director. And, I've directed shows at Ren fairs all over the place, and I love stage combat. So I would always look, I'm like, I'd love to do Star Wars stuff. But back then, 89, 90 and stuff, the lightsabers really weren't there for the fighting. And now we got to a point where we have brands like Ultra Sabers and Bendu Armory and Vader's Vaults, and they're producing blades that are 1 inch diameter, polycarbonate, and the hilts have the electronics with the sounds, the lights. So it's actually working. And what I think is really funny is like watching a behind the scenes for the Force Awakens, when the Force Awakens, that I saw them using the type of lightsabers we're using, and I'm like, yes, we've all caught up to it. So when we teach everybody, we have 10 basic moves, which are 10 basic strikes, 10 basic parries, and we teach that to everyone. And we have an actual routine, and it's just 1 through 10, and so you can fight and defend, and it teaches everybody that. And then from there, you can build anything. We were doing a convention, and somebody asked me, this young girl, she's, God bless her heart, she says, do you do forward rolls? And I'm like, no, I'm in my 50s. I do cinnamon rolls. I don't do forward rolls anymore. But other members who are younger and lighter and can roll, we do that. We do hand-to-hand combat. But for the guilds, it's like, the Rebel Legion's all the good guys. The 501st, all the bad guys. The Outer Rim Guild's everybody else. We're the characters in the background, bartenders, pilots. And then we said, you know what? With The Mandalorian, we've seen hand-to-hand combat, which we don't really see. But with characters like, Cara Dune and then more hand-to-hand fighting, well, now we're integrating more of the Renaissance Festival stuff we used when we trained everybody. Yeah. And so, and teaching the fighters at Ren Fair, and then I would take that and I would go to colleges and high schools, and I would teach at the Florida Theater Conference, Florida Thespian Conference, and, it's just all this knowledge and stuff. It was like, hey, you know what? We could do this with lightsabers now. And now that we've got more inspiration to draw from the shows and the movies, the sky's the limit. Galaxy's the limit. How about that?
I love how you mentioned Cara Dune and some of that fighting that we saw in Mandalorian. That your eyes probably lit right up when you saw all that.
Oh, absolutely. Because again, here's an aspect that we didn't get to see before. And with the Mandalorian, especially in season 1, it wasn't a lot of Jedi stuff, but then you start seeing more. But I like to talk about Star Wars all the time. But then you get the redemption, like Ahmed Best. When he came in as Calric Beck and started fighting, I practically just stood up in the seat just screaming. I'm like, yes! And there he is. He's using 2 sabers. We teach people 1 saber, 2 sabers, saber staff. There's a lot of different styles, but we start with that 10 basic moves. So if you know the 10 basic moves, we can work with it, and then we can start training you to add more to it,
So I love this combination of outfitting, clothing, but also doing all the fight choreography. Is the Outer Rim Guilds just here in Florida? Of course, you and I are standing here in Lakeland, Florida today, but are there other garrisons like they have for Rebel Legion, for the 501st, stuff like that? Can you give me a little bit of help on that?
Yeah, we actually have outposts. Right. So here in Florida, our outpost is the Batu outpost, and because Galaxy's Edge is in our backyard. So when you go and you see our setup at a convention, it's like Batu. We have our crates that our smugglers use. The storyline for our outpost is that the smugglers and pirates on Batu ferry Jedi and Sith on and off world so that they can conduct their missions. In Virginia, we have the Lothal outpost. California has the Mandalorian outpost. And we have one single member in Connecticut. He needs 4 more members and they can create an outpost. So if you have the costumes, and that's the toughest part is the costumes. There's a lot of time that goes into it. And we just had a costuming panel here at 10:30, and I told everybody there, the toughest part about running the guilds is telling people no. Like, that costume, it's not up to specs. Like, but we work with people. We guide them. We tell them, like, try this, try that. But we do have tricks. Like, like my boots. It's the funniest thing. Like, guys getting boots. I'll tell you right now, if you want, like, 18-inch tall leather boots, you're going to spend a lot of money. I wear equestrian half chaps over ankle boots. These are the most comfortable thing I've worn, and it's the most Star Wars it gets. Because if you go back to Mandalorian Season 1, when he goes into the cantina at Mos Eisley, the other bounty hunter sitting there, when his feet were propped up, I'm like, those are my boots. He's wearing half chaps on top of boots. And inexpensive. This is like $80, and it looks like the real thing. And doing Renaissance festivals, I used to spend $200, $300, $400 on leather boots for Ren Fair. I'll never go back.
Those look really cool. I know that you can't see that on a podcast, but everyone here looks incredible. They got the cool lightsabers. They got the great outfits. Oh, my gosh. So what can we expect a little bit later today? Because I might have to watch you guys twirling some lightsabers around.
Well, later today, it is going to be the basic moves. We're going to go through some of the fights we have. We are limited on space because we have to pull a bunch of chairs out of the way, so we're going to do the best we can. But if we had a lot more space, you can see us moving a lot faster. But we take it slow and easy for the convention so people can see it. And then we just walk through, because it's not only the strikes and the parries, but it's also the stance and footwork. Because I always tell people at conventions, like, go watch The Empire Strikes Back. Go watch when Vader's fighting Luke in Bespin. And when you watch Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill has a low stance, wide stance, very low, and he's moving. And you watch Darth Vader, he's practically walking. And that bothered me for a long time until I finally found a behind-the-scenes movie about that. And it turns out he can't see. He can't see from the eyes down because of that mask and everything. So he's just praying he's walking forward, not falling. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like, so for us, we'll work with people on their stance, on their footwork. We have a lot of different tricks we teach people, especially like with the blade, like inverted or straight up. There's so much we could teach people. And then when people put a fight together, like we watch them and we'll say, hey, try this or maybe try this. And then we start working on their character, you know. Because it's not just about putting on the costume. It's not just about swinging the saber. It is a character involved. Like we were at Tampa Bay Comic Con last year, and I was wearing my mercenary X-Wing pilot. And so it's like a blue jumpsuit. You know, things are tattered because it's just whatever I could get my hands on. And a guy walks by, and he goes, "Oh, I thought those were orange." 10 minutes later, I was done talking to him about that costume in character, though. And then we were doing a panel on costuming, and I told that story, and I went, yeah, I don't think that guy was ready for that. And his hand shot up in the bag. He goes, I was not, but I enjoyed it. I was like, oh, there he is. But I'm just in character, and I just start talking in character. You know, and that's like, we'll tell people, like, come up with a name or whatever. Like my character's name, and I do use the same character name over and over again.
For this outfit?
This is my Denral,
Okay.
Denrral, and that name came from a broken neon sign. The Golden Corral broken sign, and I said, Denral, that sounds like a good, that's my name, yeah. My wife's character's name is Cal Chirac.
Okay. And what about the rest of you? What's their name? Cal Chirac?
Cal Chirac. Wait a minute, tell them where that came from.
Where did Cal Chirac come from?
Oh, it's a Dwarven Tig in the video game Dragon Age.
Okay. All right. And what's yours?
Carecrow.
And where did yours come from?
A combination of nicknames that I go by.
Nice. And how about yours?
Maldrovant.
Maldrovant.
Maldrovant. I think it came from a name generator.
Oh, okay. That's a way to do it too. Yeah. So let's do this. We have your cards, but can you maybe just tell people where to find you so that when people listen, they can kind of jump on and find you guys and learn more about you?
Yeah, it's outerrimguilds.org, www.outerrim.org. And we're on Facebook. We have our own webpage, of course. And there you can also see what events we have coming up. We do have forums, but it's easier. Just go to the website and start clicking links, and you'll get to the forums and everything else. And if people are interested, like we said, like even if, like, I don't want to join the guilds, but I want to make this costume, we'll answer any question. We try to be helpful. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
All right, we're at Central Florida Comic Con. Aaron and David here, and we are joined by some of our great friends. We love them to death. They're awesome. Mary and Chazz, how are y'all doing?
We are doing great. It's been a great day.
Also good.
Ditto. It's just hold up a sign just said ditto. I saw that at we were doing a Christmas light tour over the holidays, and this house had this massive display. It was like, obviously they spent hundreds of hours setting it up, and the house next to them had one sign with lights around it that just had ditto with an arrow pointing next door. It was perfect. Anyway, off topic. Carabast. Anyway, we are first Carabast, but not the last, I guarantee it. We're sitting here. We've spent the day at Central Florida Comic Con. We have gone through. We've had a great time. A lot of great things we've seen today. I got choked out by Casper Van Dien, which was great. You'll see pictures of that online soon. Trust me. Oh, look, there goes some Pokemon. And I thought I saw a Stormtrooper a moment ago. Oh, yep, there he is. First Order Flame Trooper. Yep, he's walking here with his officer, and Anakin's taking him on. Get him, Anakin. Go, boy. Love cosplay. So let's talk about the day. What I know we all this is your first time at Central Florida Comic Con, and this is David. What, our fifth, sixth?
I think so.
Versus sixth. I think this is the fifth. I think last year was the fifth year. This is the sixth year, I believe, if I got my math right. But so let's. It can't be that long, has it? I don't know. I'll have to. Yeah, I'll have to look it up and check. I don't remember. Anyway, So what about the day have you enjoyed here at Central Florida Comic Con?
Well, number one, just like we're doing right now, watching the cosplayers go by. I mean, I think with any con, that's always the highlight. It's not what you pay for to see at the booths. A lot of times, it's everybody else who's here, and talking with them or taking pictures with them. Yeah, there's been some really good cosplay covering every genre that you can think of today.
Very good, very good. And of course, you've had some fun too. You got to meet, oh my gosh, I just blanked on his name. Ray Chase, that's right. And gotten to tour around. What have you seen around here that you've liked so far?
The show floor and all the merchandise. That's my main reason for conventions. Art, yeah. And just seeing the different cosplays.
Yeah, there have been some fantastic cosplays that we have seen, and we of course got to see a lot of great artwork too, going throughout the convention halls, the artist alley, which was actually expanded this year. They really expanded it out compared to previous years. So, what do you think, David? What are your thoughts?
Well, no, I was just thinking about how neat it is to have Mary and Chazz here. Last year we had Greg McLaughlin down here. I just learned on my phone that I interrupted him up at Steam Into Star Wars. I called him during his show. I forgot about the 1 hour difference in Illinois compared to here. So I was trying to get Greg's input on some cards, and I ended up pulling the trigger, got Return of the Jedi Blue Series, and I also got Star Wars Galaxy, so I'm blaming Greg for my loss of money today. So there you go, Greg.
I had no clue he called you Greg, or else I would have stopped them because I knew about the hour difference. Sorry about that, brother. But yeah, it's been a blast. Another fantastic year here at Central Florida Comic Con. We're here on Saturday. There's still another day left on Sunday. But it's been awesome. There's a lot of great celebrities here. Like I mentioned earlier, Casper Van Dien, Tom Kenny's here, who's the voice of SpongeBob. A lot of anime voice actors and actresses are here having a blast, and a couple of them even have some Star Wars roots out there. We've done some video games. I know one of them actually did a guest spot on The Bad Batch. So there is some Star Wars here. Small presence of the 501st, and like David mentioned earlier, in our interview, David got to talk to the Outer Rim Guild. So a lot of great things, a lot of great time. If you're in the Central Florida area, definitely make plans on coming out next year. This is definitely a growing and an incredible con that they put together year after year after year. So make an effort to get out here next year and come hang out with us. We'll be here, I guarantee it. We don't miss it. So yeah, that's what Mary and Chazz did. So they came and joined us for the day, which was awesome. I'm glad they got to. It's always good to see friends and get to hang out with them. That's what makes these conventions so much fun, are the friends and the people. So
getting con season warmed up. Yeah, it's going to be a big one.
Yeah, it's just certain you're going to MegaCon.
We are going to MegaCon next, yes. So, and a lot of the vendors that we talk to here are also going to be at MegaCon. So it'll be interesting to get back and talk to the same folks and see what other things they brought, because it is a little tight here because it is a smaller con. Mm-hmm. And they were saying that they would have like double the size of their booths at MegaCon than what they have here. So, but it'll be a huge presence at MegaCon. It's versus what this has been nice because you're able to walk around, talk to people, see the booths, see the voice actors and the other celebrities without too much of a hassle. And it's nice to be at a small con to start the year off.
Yes, it is nice. I know, David, we call this our hometown con because we make this con every year together, and it's always a blast. And I guess our next con up that we're going to is going to be Ocala.
Yeah, I mean, it was great because I got to see Mary and Chazz there. Yeah, I'd like to do that. I know these guys are going to MegaCon. I'm jealous. They've got a lot of great stuff scheduled. I'm so jelly. But yeah, that'll be in September, I believe. And okay, right. We had a good time. We were waiting in line together for Sam Witwer, and then I got flashbacks recording with you guys again from being on the Halcyon, being in the Sublight Lounge, recording. Chaz is yawning because he's thinking about us recording from like 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. on those trips. But I love Chaz because he's always so cool. Like, we're on the Halcyon, he's cool. We're out in Galaxy's Edge. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And like, I've mentioned this on the thing before, he's figuring out everything. He's like, I'm figuring everything out. And I'm like, how do you do this? He's just a chill guy, and so he's fun to have around, and nothing really ruffles him, and it's kind of fun. But it's fun to have good memories and talk to you two again and be at a con again. But it was fun being together in September, though, too. That was a lot of fun. And yeah.
It's nice, these nice little cons you don't want to sleep on, because there's a lot of good people here. Just start following the different ones. Like, once you start following one con on social media, you'll get suggestions for other ones. And don't sleep on the small ones, because there's a lot of good stuff at these smaller cons. You don't always have to go to the great big ones.
No, you don't. And the smaller cons actually tend to be a lot more personal. The people that they invite in are usually have time to be a lot more personable and a lot more interactive. And it makes a world of difference. I know our next con coming. I know you won't be with me, but I'll be at Sci-Fi Bartow. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a blast. That's actually an outdoor con. They actually block off 5 or 6 blocks of downtown Bartow, and everything is outside on street vendor style, and it's great. And they're going to have Jack Halloran from Superman 2. He's going to be there. Played one of the Kryptonian baddies. So it's going to be great. But today has been awesome. We have had a great day, a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to the rest of the day and, of course, what the future holds. Mary, Chazz, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you. May the force be with you.
It was fun.
It always is, my friend. Always is. Awesome hearing from the Outer Rim Guild. We appreciate those guys. Mary and Chazz, awesome to have them with us that day. And as you can hear, there's just a lot of fun and a lot of stuff going on at Central Florida Comic Con, which makes it it just makes it a good weekend. A good weekend. Let's go ahead and start wrapping things up here. David, do you have any final thoughts about Central Florida Comic Con 2024? Really enjoyed it. Like I said, last year and this year, 2 of my favorite years. Got to see, Greg McLaughlin from the Rebel Base Card podcast. He came down, and of course, you and I did our interview with Timothy Zahn prior to the Ahsoka series coming out, and so that was great to meet him and spend time with him this year to talk with those members of the Outer Rim Guilds and everything that they're doing to promote fandom and cosplay and lightsaber dueling. It's just beyond cool. And then, of course, to get to spend time with Mary and Chazz is always a blast. I would say this: it was cool to see Tom Kenny. Is that right? The voice of SpongeBob. Yep. You and I saw him. The line for him was unbelievably long, but well deserved. Kind of bummed that Daniel Gavar wasn't there. We got to meet him last year via Greg McLaughlin. I think you and I kind of surmised he was getting prepped up for MegaCon coming up here in a few weeks in Orlando. But I will say this: you and I got to meet the artist Brittany Ann Art, right? That's the name of her stuff. Mm-hmm. Brittany Ann Art. And I love some of the artwork that we got from her. And I'm hopeful that Aaron and I can interview her. She seemed really receptive to that. We didn't really get a chance to do it there. She was busy, and we wanted to let her do her thing. But I think if we send a message out, I think she'd be more than happy to do an interview with her. Her Star Wars art is so cool. And I'd love to get more information from her and just interview her. So hopefully we can do that here in the coming weeks. And what else? Cosplay was incredible.
You and I got some pictures with some really cool, Clone Wars era and Rebels era, right? Cosplayers, and one was Hera, and the other one was it Jesse? Did we say? Is it Jesse? I think it's
Yes.
Jesse. So those pictures were great. But again, overall, another really great year. And some years you and I get autographs and photos, and sometimes we don't. Now I'll leave it at that because I know you might have something to say in your closing remarks. About a certain autograph and photo you got. So I will turn it over to you, but I'll just finish with saying that, Central Florida Comic-Con 2024 was another really enjoyable time with friends and most importantly with you, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely was. I got to compliment Ben Penrod, who runs it, and of course his entire team, because they really knocked it out of the park again this year. I mean, the way they had everything set up with the convention floor where you could go to all the vendors, and of course the artist alley was just incredible. It was, and they had it split up the way it was all divided up, was just awesome. Absolutely loved it. And spending the time with you, and then when Mary and Chazz showed up and spending time with them, oh my gosh, it was just, to me, those are the best parts of the convention, is hanging out with the people. And I loved it. I absolutely did. And you're right, I did. Yeah, you alluded to it. I did. And if you've followed me on Twitter, you probably saw it, where I met Casper Van Dien, the actor. Of course, if you are familiar with the movie Starship Troopers, you will recognize that name as Johnny Rico from Starship Troopers. Met him. It was a blast, man. And that's why I said, earlier, everybody's so kind. The celebrities like to talk and visit. He was talkative. We went for the selfie. He ended up taking like a couple different, the traditional arm around you, smile pose. But then he was like, "Oh, yeah, let's choke you out." And he put his hands around my neck and acted like he was trying to choke me out. I mean, it was awesome. It was great meeting him, because I was always been a big fan of him, and I love that movie. It's one of my guilty pleasures outside of Star Wars. So it was an honor and a privilege to meet him and go to his panel too. His panel was awesome. Good laugh. Learned something new. I didn't know he went to Florida State, so he's a Seminole fan like me. So rock on. And apparently I was the only other Seminole fan in the room, so he gave me a thumbs up. I was all for that. But yeah, it was great. We had a great time. Yeah. And you mentioned Brittany and art. I mean, my gosh, she is an incredible artist, and I really hope it works out for us to get her on. Probably have to be after MegaCon. I know she's hyping up for that right now, but man, incredible artwork. I'm actually gonna I haven't had a chance to, but I need to post some pictures of the pieces that we got. And I mean, oh man, stunning work. Mm-hmm. So definitely, if you're going to be in Florida for MegaCon in Orlando, which normally it's what, Labor Day, Memorial Day. It's normally later in the year, but they upped it to like next week. So it's like incredibly, I mean, it's like months sooner than it's supposed to be. Don't know why they moved it, but they did. But yeah, it works out for them. Unfortunately, we won't be able to hit it, but it doesn't matter, because we had a blast at Central Florida Comic-Con, and I am really, really looking forward to it for 2025. And speaking of 2025, Central Florida Comic-Con has already announced they are returning to the ERP Funding Center in 2025. And David, I don't know if you caught this, but the dates for Central Florida Comic-Con in 2025 is January 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Oh,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, wow.
This will be the first, if those days, it'll be the first year they have done 3 days.
Interesting.
So that tells you how much this convention is growing, that they're adding a third day, which kind of blew me away because I saw the dates, the 21st Sunday, the last after the convention ended. I saw the dates and it didn't click until I was writing these notes that, wait, that's 3 days. So huge. It's huge. It's going to be huge. But yeah, so make plans, put it on the calendar, January 17th, 18th, 19th. Come on down to Lakeland, hit up Central Florida Comic-Con. Look us up. I know it's already on my calendar for next year. So I'm planning on being there, and it's going to be awesome. So David, if somebody wants to reach out to you and talk about Comic-Con or about Star Wars, how would they go about doing that?
Absolutely. Twitter X at David_Modders, Modders. Instagram is just my name, David Modders. And I meant to call this up before I did it. Because I know I got to do the blue sky. Let me get it. Because I specifically took a picture of it. There it is, right there. davidmodders.bsky.social. So that's at Blue Sky. Any place else? I guess they can always, email the show and ask you a question, me a question. So that's another place as well. So those are some of the places to check me out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course, if you want to reach out to me, the best place is X, formerly known as Twitter, at TA Harris 121079. Of course, you can find the show everywhere on social media. We are on Facebook and X at SW Reactions Pod. Then, of course, Pinterest, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. Did I say Pinterest? And Tumblr. There's so many now, I'm losing count. All at SW Reactions. Of course, you can leave us a voicemail anytime you like at I'm sorry, I just blanked. CareBest. It's speakpipe.com/Star Wars Reactions. You can always leave us a voicemail there as well, or email us swreactions@gmail.com. There we go. Of course, David, we can't end the show without a staple. And I'm not talking like, one of those little metal things you put in papers to hold them together. I'm talking about our Star Wars dad joke of the week.
Oh, good Lord. Hey, Daniel Contreras took one for me. He had two, actually. He dealt with two. I was so proud of him and so thankful for Daniel for coming on that last episode and doing that. Thank you, Daniel. Love you. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Are you sure you're ready?
I'm not sure, but I'm trying to be sure.
All right, here we go. What do you call a nervous Jedi?
Uh-oh. What do you call a nervous Jedi?
A panicking Skywalker.
Okay. Oh, gosh. Oh, so bad. These dad jokes. Oh, they're so bad. Entertaining, yes.
I love it. I love it. Well, David, my friend, Comic-Con was a blast, and this has been just as much fun hanging out and talking with you, my friend.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening in. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all are the best. You're the greatest. Like I said, like we've been saying each episode, make this the year of kindness. Do something fun. Do something nice to somebody, and just make the world a brighter place. Remember, this is your place for elegant discussion, for a more civilized age.
If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can email us at show@StarWarsReactions.com for our show notes and the latest news from the Star Wars universe. Visit our website at www.starwarsreactions.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWReactionsPod or on Facebook at Star Wars Reactions. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on iTunes. This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.